You always own the option of having no opinion. Marcus Aurelius. Think about that line for a moment. How much of your anger, frustration, or sadness has ever been caused by things outside your control? A careless word from someone, a situation that didn't go your way, or a moment where life seemed unfair. We react, we explode, or we shut down. And yet, in the eyes of the Stoics, none of these things have the power to disturb us, unless we give them that power. Anger is one of the most destructive emotions. It doesn't just hurt others, it burns you from the inside. It poisons your peace, your clarity, your ability to think. It makes you a slave to outside forces, something Stoicism teaches us to resist at all costs. Because for the Stoics, true strength is not in controlling others, it's in controlling yourself. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This means that no matter what anyone says or does, no matter what life throws at you, your inner peace is always in your hands. Anger and frustration might rise for a moment, but you have the power to decide what stays in your mind and what passes like clouds in the sky. So today, I'm sharing 8 powerful Stoic principles that have helped me, and thousands of others, break free from the anger trap. And listen, I'm not promising this will be easy, but I'm promising it will be worth it. Stay with me till the end because each rule builds on the last one, and by the time we're done, you'll have a complete roadmap to inner peace. And hey, if this resonates with you, drop this in the comments. My peace is stronger than any anger. I read every single comment and I'd love to hear from you. Rule 1. Separate what happened from what you think it means. Seneca once wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." The same is true with anger. What makes you upset is rarely the event itself. It's the story you attach to it. Think about it. Someone cuts you off in traffic. What happens? Instantly you might think, "How dare they disrespect me? They put me in danger. People are so selfish." But what if you change the story? Maybe they're rushing to the hospital. Maybe they didn't see you. Or maybe they're simply careless. But why should their carelessness take away your peace? The Stoics believed that no event is inherently good or bad. It's our judgment that gives it meaning. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." This is powerful. It means that every time you feel anger rise within you, you can pause and ask, "Am I upset because of what happened, or because of the meaning I gave it?" That question alone can change the whole direction of your day. Practical steps to apply this. Pause before reacting. When something irritates you, force yourself to take 3 breaths before speaking or acting. Those 3 seconds give you back control. Reframe the situation. Instead of thinking, "This is unfair to me," ask, "What if this isn't about me at all?" Detach from the story. Remind yourself, the event is neutral. The judgment is optional. When you start separating events from your judgments, you gain the power to choose peace instead of anger. You stop being controlled by others' behavior, and you start living as the master of your own inner world. Remember, anger doesn't punish the person who wronged you, it punishes you. It steals your calm, your clarity, your joy. Why hand over your mind to anyone so easily? Imagine yourself as a strong tree in the middle of a storm. The winds may blow, the rains may fall, but you remain rooted and unmoved. The storm passes, but your strength remains. Here's your affirmation drop in the comments. No one controls my peace but me. Rule 2. Expect people to be, well, people. Marcus Aurelius began his meditations by reminding himself each morning, The people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they don't know good from evil. Now, why would the most powerful man in the world, the Emperor of Rome, start his day by preparing himself for people's flaws? Because he knew something we often forget. If you expect perfection from others, you are setting yourself up for constant anger. The truth is, people lie, people betray, people are selfish, careless, and sometimes cruel. If you move through life expecting otherwise, every little wrong will shake you. But if you expect imperfection, you will no longer be surprised when it shows up. Instead of reacting with rage, you'll respond with understanding. When a child makes a mistake, do you scream in shock? Nah, you expect it. You guide, you correct, you stay calm. But with adults, we forget this wisdom. We assume everyone should know better, and when they don't, we burn with anger. Stoicism flips this. Expect flaws, and they lose their power to upset you. Seneca gives us another reminder. How much better to heal than to seek revenge from injury? Vengeance wastes time and puts you in the same category as those who wrong you. What he means is this. When people show you their ignorance, their arrogance, or their malice, it is not your job to descend into their chaos. Your job is to remain whole. Here's how you can put this into practice in your daily life. Morning preparation. Each morning, before you step into the world, remind yourself, I will meet people today who are rude, selfish, or unfair, but none of that can rob me of my peace. This prepares your mind so you're never shocked by human weakness. See ignorance instead of evil. When someone insults you, remember Marcus's words. They are like this because they don't know good from evil. In other words, they are acting out of ignorance, not wisdom. Why be angry at someone who does not yet know better? Lower the weight of expectations. If you expect someone never to disappoint you, you're living in fantasy. But if you accept human imperfection, you stop taking things personally. A broken promise, a rude word, or an inconsiderate act no longer surprises you. It simply becomes another reminder that people are human. Strengthen compassion. Instead of anger, once you see flaws as part of human nature, you can respond with compassion. This doesn't mean excusing bad behavior. It means not letting it poison your soul. You may correct, you may walk away, you may enforce boundaries, but you do it without rage, without losing yourself. You walk into a crowded marketplace. People bump into you. Some cut in line, some talk too loudly. Would you be furious at each one, or would you accept that this is what crowds are like? Life is the same. When you stop expecting perfection, you stop being endlessly upset. Peace comes not from changing others, but from changing our expectations. You cannot control human nature, but you can control how you prepare for it. And preparation is everything. So the next time someone acts selfishly, instead of boiling with rage, remind yourself, I saw this coming. I expected this. Their flaw is not my storm. Because people will continue to be flawed until the day you die. If you wait for a world where no one irritates you, you will spend your life in misery. But if you accept human imperfection, you'll never again be surprised. And when you're not surprised, you stay calm. This doesn't make you weak. It makes you unshakable. Because strength is not measured by how loudly you shout when wronged, but by how calmly you endure without being broken. Marcus Aurelius knew that by expecting flaws, he was freeing himself from the trap of anger. You can do the same. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I expect flaws, but I choose peace. Rule 3. Master the voice in your head. Epictetus once said, men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. This is one of the deepest Stoic truths. The voice in your head, the one that comments, judges, and interprets, decides whether you burn with anger or rest in peace. It's not the insult itself that crushes you, but the way you replay it. It's not the challenge itself that drains you, but the story you attach to it. This isn't fair. This always happens to me. Why can't people treat me better? The Stoics understood that we don't suffer because of reality. We suffer because of the way we talk to ourselves about reality. And if you want to never again get angry or upset, you must learn to discipline that inner dialogue. If a stranger on the street mutters something rude in a language you don't understand, do you get angry? Nah, because the words never entered your inner dialogue. But if the same insult comes in your own language, suddenly your mind picks it up, repeats it, and keeps stabbing you with it. It's not the words, it's your mind's attachment to them. So how do you train your inner dialogue? The Stoics give us 3 powerful methods. Catch the first thought. When anger rises, it often comes with a thought like, "They disrespected me," or "This is unbearable." Catch it immediately. Don't let it grow into a full story. Remind yourself, this is just my judgment, not the truth. By catching the thought early, you stop it before it consumes you. Replace, don't repeat. If your inner voice keeps saying, "I can't believe they did this to me," it will only deepen your anger. Instead, replace it with a Stoic truth. They act according to their nature, not mine. Or, I control how I respond, and that is my strength. By giving your mind a new line, you break the loop of rage. Talk like a guide, not an enemy. Many people let their inner dialogue tear them down. They speak to themselves with harshness, blame, and exaggeration. Instead, talk to yourself as a wise guide would. Ask, will this anger help me? Or is it better to let it go? Direct your mind as if you were leading a friend, not punishing an enemy. Seneca warned us, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality, and the imagination speaks through our inner dialogue. If you don't train it, it will betray you. But once you master it, you can face any insult, any betrayal, any challenge, without losing yourself. Here's a simple daily exercise. Each evening, reflect on your day. Ask yourself, where did my inner dialogue betray me today? Did I add unnecessary stories to what happened? Then reframe them. Train your mind to speak differently tomorrow. Another practical tool is journaling. Marcus Aurelius didn't write his meditations to publish them. He wrote them to remind himself of Stoic truths, to discipline his inner voice. You can do the same. Each time anger lingers, write it down. Then ask, what judgment did I add that made this worse? Replace it with a calmer truth. Because at the end of the day, the mind is like a theater. If you let angry scripts run freely, they will dominate the show. But if you rewrite the script with reason and calm, anger has no stage to perform on. The next time you feel anger boiling inside, step back and ask yourself, what exactly am I saying to myself right now? Then notice, it's not the event, not the person, not the world. It's your inner dialogue fueling the fire. And the moment you see this clearly, the fire begins to die. When you take charge of your inner voice, you take charge of your peace. Nothing outside you can disturb you unless your mind agrees to it. That is why Epictetus said, "You may fetter my leg, but not even Zeus himself has the power to break my freedom of choice." Freedom begins with the voice you listen to inside your head. Make it a Stoic voice, not an angry one. Rule 4. Hit the pause button. Viktor Frankl, though not a Stoic but deeply aligned with their wisdom, once said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." This single idea holds the key to never again being ruled by anger. Because anger thrives on immediacy. The insult is thrown, and you snap back. The inconvenience happens, and you explode. The betrayal surfaces, and you rush into rage. But if you can create even the smallest space between what happens and what you do next, you rob anger of its power. The Stoics were masters of this discipline. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That power begins the very moment you choose not to react instantly. Let's look at this practically. Imagine someone insults you in front of others. The instant urge is to defend, attack, or shut down. But what if, in that moment, you pause, just for 3 breaths? In those breaths, you remind yourself, "Their words cannot harm me unless I let them in." Suddenly, instead of being dragged into the mud, you rise above it. Or imagine you're stuck in traffic, already late. The car in front moves too slowly, and frustration bubbles. Normally, you might slam the horn, curse under your breath, or let the whole day sour. But if you create space, even just a pause to inhale deeply and remind yourself, "This is outside my control, but my peace is not," you turn chaos into calm. The power of the pause is not weakness, it's mastery. It proves that you are not a slave to impulses, but a commander of your inner world. Here are practical ways to build this pause into your life. Train your breath. Make it a habit that whenever anger rises, you take 3 slow breaths before saying or doing anything. Your breath becomes the anchor that gives you back control. Use mental cues. Choose a phrase to remind yourself in heated moments. For example, "This is just noise," or "I will not hand them my peace." These short cues create space between the trigger and your action. Delay your response. If possible, wait before replying to that message, email, or confrontation. Give it an hour or even a day. You will notice that what once felt urgent loses its fire when you step away. Practice daily small pauses. Don't wait for big conflicts to train this skill. Practice pausing in small annoyances, when you spill water, when someone talks too loudly, when plans change. The small pauses build strength for the bigger storms. Seneca wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." Why? Because anger is like a fire. If you fuel it instantly, it grows wild. But if you let time and space pass, the fire burns itself out. And remember, the world expects you to be reactive. They expect you to yell when insulted, slam the door when frustrated, or lash out when betrayed. But when you respond with calm instead, it unsettles them. It shows them you cannot be controlled. That is true power. Creating space is not just about avoiding conflict, it's about building dignity. It's about saying, "I am not an animal driven by reflexes. I am a human being with reason, with discipline, with choice. That choice is where your freedom lives." So the next time life tests you, don't ask, "How can I crush this anger instantly?" Instead, ask, "Can I pause long enough to let reason step in?" That single pause may save your peace, your relationships, and even your health. Because anger wants immediacy, but wisdom thrives in patience. Rule 5. Don't take their stuff personally. Epictetus taught, "If someone speaks badly of you, remember that they do so because they think it right. It is not the words themselves that harm you, but your interpretation of them." This lesson is vital if you want to free yourself from anger. Most of the time, the reason we get upset at insults or criticism is because we take them personally. We allow another person's words to enter our chest like arrows. But here is the truth. Insults are rarely about you. They are about the person throwing them. Think of it this way. If someone is bitter inside, bitterness will spill out. If someone is insecure, they project that insecurity onto others. If someone is angry at life, they will aim that anger at anyone in sight. When you understand this, their words stop being daggers and become mirrors. Mirrors reflecting their inner turmoil, not your worth. Seneca once wrote, "A man who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary." When someone insults you, you suffer twice. Once when they speak, and again when you keep repeating it in your mind. But what if you didn't repeat it? What if you recognized, this is their noise, not my truth? Here's how you can practice this in your daily life. Redefine insults. Instead of thinking, they hurt me, shift your perspective to, they revealed themselves. Their words expose their own bitterness, ignorance, or lack of control, not your identity. Practice indifference. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself, choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. When insults come, you can decide not to pick them up. An insult only lives if you give it shelter in your mind. Detach your worth from opinions. Imagine you're holding a diamond. If someone calls it worthless, does the diamond lose its value? Of course not. Your worth is not dictated by what others say. Their opinion is simply noise passing through the air. Respond with silence. One of the greatest ways to prove that insults don't touch you is to say nothing at all. Silence is strength. When you don't react, you show that you are above the storm. It unsettles the insulter, but more importantly, it preserves your peace. Let's be real. Words sting. When someone mocks you, spreads lies, or tries to humiliate you, the natural reaction is to fight back. But remember, their words say far more about their character than about yours. And if you carry their poison, you let them win twice. First by speaking, and second by stealing your calm. Imagine someone handing you a burning coal. If you grab it, you're the one burned. But if you let it drop, it cannot touch you. Insults are burning coals, only harmful if you pick them up. Marcus Aurelius gave himself this advice. When another blames you, or hates you, or people voice similar criticisms, go to their souls. Penetrate inside and see what sort of people they are. You will realize that there is no need to be racked with anxiety that they should hold any particular opinion about you. This is profound. Instead of asking, why did they insult me? Ask, what kind of soul must they have to insult another? You'll quickly see, it's their weakness, not yours. So, the next time someone throws words meant to wound you, stand tall in silence and remind yourself, this is not mine to carry. Walk away with dignity and let their insult return to where it came from, their own unsettled heart. Because here's the truth. The moment you stop taking insults personally, you become untouchable. People may shout, mock, or criticize, but their words cannot chain you unless you agree to wear the chains. The wise person doesn't waste energy fighting shadows. They keep walking forward, untouchable in their calm. Rule 6. Drop it like it's hot. Seneca once said, anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. Most people don't just get angry in the moment, they hold on to it. They replay the insult in their minds, they nurse the grudge, they let bitterness grow roots in their heart. But the Stoics saw this as self-inflicted torture. The event happened once, but by holding on, you suffer it 1,000 times more. If you truly want to never again be ruled by anger or upset, you must master the art of letting go. Not tomorrow, not next week, but quickly, before it poisons your peace. Think of anger like carrying a burning coal. The longer you hold it, the deeper it burns you. Yet many of us choose to keep holding it, believing we are hurting the person who wronged us. But in reality, we only scorch ourselves. Marcus Aurelius gave us this reminder. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. When you hold on to anger, you mirror the very person who harmed you. But when you let go, you rise above them. You reclaim your dignity and protect your mind from being dragged into the mud. So how do we practice letting go quickly? Name the weight. The first step is to admit, I am carrying this anger. Often we disguise it as righteousness or justice, but honesty with yourself frees you. Once you name the weight, you can decide to put it down. Refuse the second wound. The Stoics remind us that the first wound is what someone does to us. The second wound is what we do to ourselves by clinging to it. Ask yourself, why should I keep suffering for something that has already happened? Refuse the second wound. Drop it before it multiplies. Shift focus to action. If there's something you can fix it. If not, accept it and move forward. Anger is wasted energy. Turning that energy into purposeful action is how you transform pain into strength. Practice mental release. Visualize the anger as a stone in your hand. See yourself opening your palm and letting it fall. Sometimes a simple visualization helps your mind release what your heart is gripping too tightly. Seneca also said, anger, if not dismissed, is like poison. The longer it stays in your system, the more it spreads, clouding your thoughts, poisoning your relationships, and stealing your peace. That's why the ability to let go quickly is not weakness, it is wisdom. Imagine this scenario. You're in an argument and harsh words are exchanged. Later that night, the other person is asleep peacefully, but you are awake, replaying every word, thinking of what you could have said. Who suffers more? Not them, you. Holding anger is choosing to suffer for someone else's behavior. But what if, instead, you let go? You say to yourself, it has happened. It is over. I will not relive it. Suddenly, the burden lifts. You breathe again. You regain your clarity. You return to the present moment where peace always lives. The Stoics knew that life is too short to waste in anger. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now." Let that determine what you do and say and think. If this were your last day, would you want to spend it replaying an insult or holding bitterness against someone? Or would you rather release it and live with calm? Letting go quickly is not just about peace, it's about freedom. It means you are no longer chained to the actions of others. They may wound you once, but you will not give them the satisfaction of wounding you again through your own mind. So the next time anger rises, ask yourself, do I want to hold this burning coal, or will I drop it now? And remember, the quicker you let go, the lighter your soul becomes. Rule 7. Turn problems into teachers. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is one of the most powerful Stoic truths. It means that obstacles are not enemies to your peace, they are teachers. Every insult, every frustration, every setback is not something to curse, but something to learn from. Here's the problem. Most of us treat difficulties as personal attacks. Someone disrespects us, and we feel wounded. Something blocks our progress, and we feel cheated. Life turns unexpectedly, and we feel punished. But the Stoics remind us, life owes us no smooth road. The road itself, with its bumps and barriers, is what builds our strength. Think about anger for a moment. Why does it rise? Because something didn't go the way you wanted. But if you change your view and ask, what can this teach me? Suddenly the anger weakens. The problem transforms into practice. The obstacle becomes training. Seneca taught, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. In other words, just as muscles grow only when tested with resistance, your character grows when tested by setbacks. If you never faced disrespect, how would you practice patience? If no one ever opposed you, how would you strengthen resilience? If life never disappointed you, how would you learn acceptance? To apply this, start practicing these 3 mental shifts. Ask the training question. When someone angers you, don't ask, "Why me?" Instead ask, "What skill is life training me in right now?" Patience, calm, detachment. This reframes changes frustration into practice. Flip the value of setbacks. When things don't go your way, instead of saying, "This ruins everything," say, "This is part of my training." Treat every difficulty as a weight in the gym of life. Without it, you'd never grow. Honor the lesson, not the hurt. Even when pain strikes, focus on the lesson it brings, not the wound it leaves. An insult may sting, but it teaches you endurance. A delay may frustrate you, but it teaches patience. Let's make this practical. Imagine someone betrays your trust. You could be consumed by rage, thinking only of their betrayal. Or you could step back and ask, what does this teach me about trust, about human nature, about resilience? The lesson becomes a shield that prevents the anger from consuming you. Or picture losing an opportunity you worked hard for. Most would drown in bitterness, but the Stoic response is, "This loss is my training in acceptance. It will strengthen me for something greater." The obstacle doesn't break you, it builds you. Marcus Aurelius lived this daily. As emperor, he faced betrayal, war, plague, and endless criticism. Yet instead of raging at the unfairness of life, he wrote to himself, "The obstacle on the path becomes the path." He used each hardship to strengthen his soul. When you start to see setbacks as teachers, something amazing happens. You stop being surprised by them. Instead of anger, you feel readiness. Instead of bitterness, you feel wisdom. And with every trial, you become calmer, stronger, more unshakable. Because the truth is, life will never stop throwing obstacles your way. People will always disappoint you. Situations will always frustrate you. Plans will always shift. You cannot stop that. But you can train yourself to meet them, not with anger, but with curiosity and strength. So, the next time you feel anger boiling because life isn't going your way, stop and ask, "What lesson is hidden here for me?" And remind yourself, the obstacle is not my enemy, it is my teacher. This shift will not only calm your anger, it will transform your entire relationship with life. Suddenly, nothing is wasted. Every trial is training, every insult is instruction, every setback is strength in disguise. And once you see life this way, you no longer resent it. You embrace it. You grow with it. You rise above anger into wisdom. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. Every obstacle is my teacher, not my enemy. Rule 8. Stay right here, right now. Seneca once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This is a central Stoic truth for mastering anger and upset. Much of our frustration doesn't come from the present. It comes from ruminating on what has already happened, what might happen, or what should have happened. Think about it. Someone wrongs you yesterday, and today you keep replaying it. Or you fear that someone will betray you in the future, and your mind spirals into stress. The event itself may be minor or even forgotten by others, but you are living in it over and over again. That is where anger and upset take root. The Stoics taught that your power lies in the present moment. You cannot change the past, you cannot control the future, but you can choose your thoughts, your attention, and your actions right now. Anchoring yourself in the present is like dropping a heavy anchor into a stormy sea. It keeps you stable when the waves of emotion threaten to capsize you. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Confine yourself to the present." By focusing only on what is before you, you refuse to give energy to imagined wrongs, slights, or worries. You stop feeding the fire of anger and instead stay grounded in what truly matters. Here's how to apply this in daily life. Notice when your mind wanders. Anger often arises when your mind drifts to past hurts or imagined slights. The first step is awareness. Catch yourself. I am replaying what happened yesterday. I am imagining a worst-case scenario tomorrow. Awareness is the first anchor. Bring your attention to the now. Use your senses. Notice what you can see, hear, touch, or feel in this moment. Feel your feet on the ground, your breath moving in and out. The present moment is neutral and calm. It does not insult, betray, or frustrate. Ask, what can I do now? Instead of dwelling on anger, shift to action within your control. What steps can you take in this moment to improve your situation or simply preserve your peace? Action in the present dissolves the power of imagined anger. Release the should-haves. Much of anger comes from expectations. They should have acted differently. This shouldn't have happened. Life should be fair. The Stoics remind us that reality doesn't bend to our preferences. Accept what is and anchor yourself in the now. Practice daily presence. Each morning or evening, set aside a few minutes to focus entirely on the present. Even 5 minutes of meditation, mindful breathing, or simple awareness of surroundings can train your mind to return to now instead of living in the past or future. When you anchor yourself in the present, the small annoyances and imagined slights lose their weight. A rude comment is just a comment. A mistake someone made is just a fact. The traffic jam, the delayed response, the misstep, all of it is neutral until your mind interprets it. Epictetus said, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well." Anchoring in the present is exactly that, accepting life as it is, refusing to let imagined scenarios rob your peace, and choosing to respond calmly in the moment. Anger thrives in the shadows of what was and what could be. Peace thrives in the sunlight of what is. When you live here, fully present, you are untouchable. The world can throw insults, delays, and disappointments at you, but your calm remains intact. So the next time you feel anger rising, ask yourself, am I upset by reality or by a memory or imagination? Focus entirely on what is real, what is now, and you will find that most of your anger evaporates before it can take hold. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I live in the present, and peace is my anchor. Throughout this journey, we've uncovered the Stoic path to freedom from anger and upset. From separating events from your judgments, to expecting human flaws, to mastering your inner dialogue, creating space, letting go, and anchoring yourself in the present, you now have practical, timeless tools to reclaim your peace. The Stoics teach us a simple yet profound truth. The world cannot harm you unless you give it permission. Every insult, frustration, or setback is neutral until your mind interprets it. By taking responsibility for your perceptions, your expectations, and your responses, you step out of the storm of emotion and into the calm of reason. Remember, anger is a thief. It steals clarity, joy, and your ability to act with wisdom. But when you follow these Stoic practices, you make yourself untouchable. You no longer hand over your peace to anyone or anything. You respond with calm. You see obstacles as teachers. You let go quickly. You anchor yourself in the present. And above all, you choose what to believe, what to feel, and how to act. The greatest freedom is not the absence of challenges. It is the mastery of your inner world. Life will always throw tests, but the Stoics remind us that no storm is strong enough to destroy a mind rooted in discipline, reason, and calm. Start today. Apply these principles. Practice them in small moments. And gradually, the old reflexes of anger and upset will fade. Your life will be quieter, your mind sharper, and your soul stronger. Drop this final affirmation in the comments. I am untouchable, calm, and at peace. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, comment, share,